Clowns are supposed to be fun, right? I mean, what could possibly go wrong with an adult in oversized shoes, a painted on smile, with absolutely no explanation for why they're standing in a corner of the room looking that way? Historically, they've always been entertainers, icons of laughter, chaos, and harmless absurdity. Birthday parties, circuses, the occasional balloon animal that never really comes out looking like it's supposed to be, but still harmless. Or at least that's what we tell ourselves. Because if you really think about it, there's something a little off. The smile never changes, the eyes never match the expression, and sometimes they don't move at all. And the strangest part, clowns weren't always meant to be funny. In fact, they may never have been. There's something wrong with a smile that never changes, a face painted in joy, frozen and permanent, even when everything else feels off. For centuries, clowns were harmless, symbols of laughter, absurdity, and play. But today they've become something else entirely, something darker. From horror films to real-world encounters, clowns have transformed into one of the most unsettling figures in modern culture. And what makes this even stranger is that this fear didn't come from nowhere. It was built, slowly over time, through history, psychology, and moments that blurred the line between fiction and reality. Clowns didn't begin as entertainers, they began as disruptors. In ancient cultures, trickster figures existed to challenge order. They mocked authority, broke rules, and exposed uncomfortable truths. Sacred clowns in indigenous traditions weren't just comedic, they were spiritual, often acting out taboo behaviors to teach lessons. In ancient Greece, theatrical performers exaggerated expressions into masks, early versions of the artificial face. These figures weren't meant to be comforting, they were meant to unsettle, just enough to make people think. The medieval jester refined the concept of the clown, but added something new: danger. Jesters could say what no one else could. They mocked kings, insulted nobility, and exposed truths hidden beneath power. But their safety depended on a delicate balance. Too far, and the joke ended. Their exaggerated clothing and unpredictable behavior reinforced a key idea. You never quite knew what a clown would do next. And unpredictability is one of the roots of fear. By the 1800s, the clown entered the circus and became something recognizable. Painted faces, bright costumes, exaggerated smiles. Figures like Joseph Grimaldi defined the modern clown. But behind the makeup, reality was often darker. Grimaldi himself lived with pain and depression, famously noting the contrast between his performance and his life. The clown became a mask, not just for entertainment, but for hiding something underneath, and audiences began to feel that contradiction. The shift into fear accelerated in the 20th century. Real-life horror collided with fiction, and the clown became something else entirely. Serial killer John Wayne Gacy performed as Pogo the Clown, permanently linking the image to real-world violence. Around the same time, storytelling began to reshape the clown into a predator. In Poltergeist, a seemingly harmless toy clown becomes a source of terror, attacking from the shadows of a child's bedroom. It played on something deeply personal, the idea that something familiar could suddenly turn hostile. Then came Pennywise from the movie It, a clown not just frightening, but manipulative, feeding on fear itself. Meanwhile, the clown took on a different kind of chaos in The Dark Knight through the Joker, portrayed by Heath Ledger. Here, the clown wasn't supernatural, but psychological, unpredictable, an agent of disorder. And then modern horror pushed even further. Terrifier introduced Art the Clown, silent, expressionless, and brutally violent. No jokes, no humor, just presence. The clown no longer needed a reason to be scary. It simply was. In 2016, fiction became reality, or at least it felt that way. Reports began emerging across the United States. People dressed as clowns standing in forests, appearing near schools, lingering under streetlights. The first widely reported incidents came from Wisconsin and South Carolina, where children claimed clowns were attempting to lure them into the woods. At first it seemed isolated, but then it spread. Social media amplified every sighting. Videos, photos, and stories circulated rapidly, many unverified, some clearly staged, others impossible to trace. The fear escalated faster than the facts. Some traced the origin to viral marketing speculation tied loosely to the upcoming release of it, though no official campaign was ever confirmed as the cause. Instead, what emerged was something more organic and more unsettling. Copycat behavior. People began dressing as clowns simply to provoke reactions, to frighten, to participate in something viral, and in doing so, they made the phenomenon real. As a result, police departments issued warnings, schools locked down. In some cases, arrests were made. But the true driver wasn't a single source. It was collective fear, spreading through the internet faster than it could be controlled. For a brief moment, the clown stopped being a character and became a presence. Psychologists call it the uncanny valley, the discomfort we feel when something looks human, but not quite. Clowns exist perfectly within that space. Their smiles are exaggerated, their emotions are hidden. You can't read their intentions, and when the brain can't predict behavior, it prepares itself for danger. This is why clowns work so well in horror, not because they're inherently evil, but because they're unknowable, and what we don't understand, we fear. Clowns didn't become monsters overnight. They evolved, slowly, reflecting our culture, our fears, and our fascination with the unknown. From sacred figures to entertainers, from symbols of joy to icons of horror, the clown has always existed on the edge of something else. Maybe that's why they endure. Because behind every painted smile, there's a question. Is it real? Or is it hiding something? So, maybe the clowns aren't the problem at all, maybe it's us. After all, we painted the smiles on them. We decided they were funny, harmless, safe. We built the costume, wrote the act, and told ourselves it's just all entertainment. But over time, something changed. Or maybe something started to display itself. Because when you strip it all away, the makeup, the colors, the performance, you're left with something strangely familiar, a face that hides more than it reveals, an expression you can't quite read, and a presence that feels human, but it's just slightly off. And maybe that's why they've lasted this long, because deep down, the clown isn't just pretending, it's reflecting. And the next time you see one, smiling, perfectly still, just ask yourself one question. Is it trying to make you laugh? Or is it waiting for you to notice that it already has?